Hello, this is Angela from Tarot as Art, coming to you from not so sunny Melbourne, a very cold winter Saturday morning. I've got the fire going, I've got the tea brewing, and I thought I'd do another VR or hashtag to Lisa Papez and her partner Peggy this time. It's an old one, 21 questions. I watched many of these when they came out and I thought, oh, that would be fun to do. So why not? I'll do it now, and I'll go through some cards and just showcase some of my knowledge on tarot and my thoughts on the questions and have some fun. So depending on where you are in the world, get a drink, get a cuppa and spend some time with me. So I'll see you on the other side. Bye for now. Hello viewers, this is Angela from Tarot as Art. I am now starting the VR to Lisa Papez and her partner Peggy, who did the hashtag 21 tarot questions. It's an oldie, but it's one I thought would be fun to do, and again showcase all the decks, and it's quite long. So maybe we'll start and we'll get on with it. So now let's get the questions up. What is the deck that they'll have to pry out of your cold, dead hands, as Charlton Heston said in the Planet of the Apes? Well, you may all know this by now, but here's my old velvety bag that I've had since I was a very young teenager in the late 1980s. And this is the deck, which you all know. Do that so we can see it a bit closer. Of course, it's my Greenie Thoth, and I think this is the most beautiful tarot deck ever created in terms of cohesion of the art and the symbolism and what it's trying to say. And I think that Lady Frida Harris and Aleister Crowley were the perfect yin and yang, let's call it, to create this alchemy of Kabbalah, astrology, occultism, pip decks, yes, even the Marcier, everything's in here that you'd ever want to know. And the cards are just stunning. I mean, the Devil's come out, and honestly, this is one of the best devils I've ever seen in a tarot deck. And every time I see it, I think about Rosemary's Baby, the film with Mia Farrow, and especially the opening scene where this sort of soft lullaby music draws us into, or seduces us into, gently the slowly unfolding horror of the entanglements that she and they get into. And I think this devil speaks to me of that scene, especially comes into mind, and because of the soft colors, the pinkness, and just and how entanglements can work in a sort of negative binding way rather than a liberating way. And I'm amazed at that card every time I see it, and every time it pops out of the decks, and that film does come to mind, but I won't go into it too much. And these are the beautiful backs, and of course you've got the rosary and all the major arcanas in the little petals. Everything's got a signification, or it's a signifier and a signified, and it all draws itself back to a cohesion, again, of numerology, astrology, hexagrams even, the I Ching. There's a lot in it. So for me, I'd have to knock you out. If you tried to get this deck, my little body would get into a big powwow. That's for sure. Second question. What is your guilty pleasure deck? Start laughing now, but stop. Here it is, the Romance Angels, Doreen Virtue.
Guilty Pleasure, Hay House. Perfect box, everything. You've got to give it to Hay House. And again, a mass market deck. Well, the Greenie Thoth's now worth thousands, so that version isn't mass market, but you can get the deck mass market. But that's out of print unless you want to pay over $1,000. So this is also out of print actually, and it's a guilty pleasure because look, deception. Someone is wearing a false mask in this relationship. True love. This is a romance of a lifetime. I mean, what can be more than a guilty pleasure of all this? How perfect is this for what it is? And you know, people ask for it and it often makes comments, and I love it. And I know Doreen Virtue is poo-pooed the community, and I think the community's poo-pooed her back, to be honest. But I guess that's why this is a guilty pleasure. So here it is, and past life, you have known each other before, past life relationship. I don't know what could get any better than that. So, and I think the deck will increase in value because it's out of print and because she's not doing any more decks because she did 2 million. But this is one of the, I think I've got a couple of her decks. So, and this is the one I think is a guilty pleasure. So we'll put that away. Next question. I've got to get these questions up. What's the deck you'd wished existed? Okay, well, I guess for me, I would really love a Cleopatra deck. I know there is a Cleopatra deck. Los Gabareo have done one in the vein of the Egyptian tarot, sort of similar. It wasn't what I was thinking of. I actually got it. I passed it on. I didn't get that much out of it. Of course, Cleopatra is a historical figure of great importance and of great. She's just a fascinating person who had great influence on events and on art and on literature. But I think the combination of Elizabeth Taylor playing Cleopatra in that movie is prime material for a tarot deck. Probably in the vein of the Hitchcock tarot that Chris Leach did. Chris Leach, if you're watching, I know you're probably not watching, but if you are, I'd love Chris Leach to put a deck together. I mean, the costumes, I can see it coming together in terms of the costumes, the sets, and she'd be every queen in the deck. And you've got Richard Burton and Rex Harrison, and I think it would work beautifully. I'd love to see that come to life, images from that movie in a Cleopatra deck. So that's my wish. And who knows, I might even try and get to do it, but I'm trying to do my own at the moment. So let's put that aside. What deck would you give to a new reader? Well, can we look past the RWS? I don't think we can. So here is the my favorite sort of version for a new reader. The Universal Tarot to me is perfect. I've got the vintage version from the 90s, but there's modern versions out there. Why I like this particular version of the RWS is, one, the size, better than the yellow box, fits in my hands nicely. The quality of the cardstock, I'm pretty sure AGM printed this, so it's a great printing. But also the imagery is, the colours are gentle. It looks like they've been coloured in with Derwents, if you ask me. If you don't know what a Derwent is, it's a colouring pencil, but it's a soft, high quality colouring pencil that, you know, we'd all dreamed about when we were children because we had the cheapy ones. And those were the coveted ones. I mean, look at that. And it just gives the cards a beautiful feel and vibe. Here's another devil again, bit different. The chains. But certainly, again, complex simplicity. There's a million symbols to be read within the colour scheme, within the iconography of each picture. that a new reader won't get too overwhelmed and threatened by. Its gentleness will allow the reader, and we want readers, we want people to take up tarot, to understand it. And because it's not so busy and not so overwhelming and perhaps challenging like the Thoth. I mean, I picked up the Thoth, I didn't know anything and started reading it. Now, if I saw the Thoth now, I wouldn't pick it up if I'd never picked it up. It's overwhelming in its intellect as well. Not that this isn't, but this just hides it and presents it and distills it differently than Crowley and Lady Frida Harris did. I think Crowley could understand complex, occult, philosophical theories in terms of Egyptian mythology, Greek mythology, Kabbalah, all of that. But he could distill it, and they distilled it in such a way that the iconography of the picture does it justice. He could distill it and regurgitate it with ease as a testament to his intellect. This does it, but it hasn't got the fully loaded aspect of it. But don't deceive yourselves. It is loaded. I mean, here is the Seven of Cups. Head in the clouds, the symbols in each cup, the potential danger and lure of each cup. And is the whole thing an illusion? The colours of the sky, that he's in shadow looking out. A million things to read, but not threatening for a reader. And with a good RWS book, you can't go wrong. And the little white book that comes with this is fine. It's in the tin now too. I might get the tin version. I'm a fan. Still a fan. What deck did you want to get along with, but we just never clicked? Okay, well, really for me, that would be the Wild Unknown Tarot. I did want to get along with it because I love it. Look at it. Welcome to the Wild Unknown Tarot. You'll find no wrongs or rights inside this box, only mirrors for reflection. Open your mind, draw a card, and have fun on your journey. I don't know about having fun. I don't think it's a fun deck. This is the mass market version. I don't know if the indie version wrote that. I just don't click with it. Maybe because it doesn't have people in it. It's got pips and nature and animals. But the nature it's sort of presenting is a little bit stark and dark. Even in the lighter cards, I mean, yeah, Daughter of Pentacles, Bambi. Death. I don't like seeing that. I just don't click with it. The Magician's wonderful. Yeah, so I'm not going to go on too much about it. These are the beautiful backs. I haven't edged it because I don't really use it. Maybe it'll help me click with it at some stage. I am keeping it. I keep decks that I feel are important. This is an important deck. She did a lot. But yeah, I don't really click with it, so it just sits in the cupboard. I'll put that away. And the mass market, you can get that anywhere if you want to buy it, and maybe try and click with it. What deck do you only keep for the artwork? Well, where is it? There it is. Okay, so that's Banksy. I only keep Banksy for the artwork, really, because I think they've done a great job. Kupti-Lu, that's her there. They've done a great job of the artwork and curating it. There is another deck like this, but it's only got the majors and it's not as good. This is the best deck. These are the gorgeous backs. This is the gilding that's theirs. That's how it came with. Again, it's an independent deck. I'm pretty sure at the moment it is out of print. So you can't really, I don't think you can really get it. I don't know why my cards are all back to front, but they are. But yeah, I only really keep this for the artwork and the fact that they've done such a great job curating it. And the little pamphlet's got quotes, and the most famous, I think, is "I see humans but no humanity." Very apt for our times. Karma. And if you're in Melbourne at the moment, there is an exhibition on at the Docklands to get a look and see if there's some of these graffiti images on there. But yeah, that's Banksy. So really I only keep that for the artwork. Like, I can't imagine keeping it for any other reason. Really, I don't really read with it. I've tried with myself. But sometimes it's heavy going. It's a very political deck, as we both know. And there's some beautiful images in it. Just absolutely, I love that. Yeah, the 8 of buckets, there you go. And that's that. So I'll put that away. Great cardstock as well. Lovely size. This is my preferred size, nice and small, not oracle size. So that's that one. Next, what deck did you buy because everybody else did? Well, and this is a good story because it was the gorgeous Marielle. There's the Ouroboros, there's the gorgeous gilding, and this is mass market. I bought the 2nd edition, and I've seen the other editions. I prefer this edition. I think she's done a great job. Well, both editions really. But if I had to choose, I would still choose this edition. And everyone was showcasing it. And as I said, I just, what the hell, you know, what is this? I don't understand. It wasn't really my thing. And I bought the deck, and like I told you, I just totally fell in love with this deck. I get shivers up my spine when I touch it every time. I'm getting them again now. And the book is outstanding. I got it cheaply. Everyone got it. I wasn't going to get it. I was like, nah. The price was sort of irresistible the way I found it. And I just thought, why not? And so the collective, our tarot tubers, were correct. So trust in us, and trust sometimes in the voice. Not that everything suits everybody, but that told me a lot, that everyone was right and I was wrong. And I love that. I love that. And I love the community for that. It's a beautiful community, and they've done this deck justice. Beautiful deck. Unbelievable. I told you again, I'd be brought to tears with this deck. It's too much. As you can see, I'm an emotional person. Let me just get the next one up. What deck is over your head or just baffles you? Okay, we're going to go to laughter from tears. Okay, get ready, folks. It's a vintage deck, so I don't know whether you can get it mass market anymore, but anyway. The Tarot of the Cat People by Karen Kuykendall, US Games. I think this is the late 70s or 80s. And here we go. 1985, so yes, mid 1980s. The Tarot of the Cat People book was written by a single explorer to the outer regions, a vast area very far away and very mysterious. Well, mysterious to the degree that God knows what's going on here. Nobody knows what's going on here. It's a beautiful deck, beautifully done, beautiful backs, great size, and again, they look like they're a mixture of Byzantine mosaic art and some pimp walking around in New York in the 1970s wearing a lot of weird stuff. There's the hermit. But he's got his 3 cats and the lamb. Maybe they're showing him the way. It's weird. I don't know what the outer regions are doing. It comes with this, like, I can't help but show you. It comes with this book. If I can get it out of this great little kit here, that explains this weird journey. And like, you've got weather stations in this outer region. You've got kingdoms. You've got all sorts of kingdoms in the major and minor arcanas. You've got a whole, you've got a government. You've got a government, guys. You've got a government. Like, I'm just baffled by this deck, and I'm baffled at what perhaps was trying, what she was trying, or what was trying, what's the outcome of this deck? What's it trying to do? There's the 2 of Pentacles, and it's beautiful, and I highly recommend it. And I'm going to read that book from toe to toe, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to say something to the community about this thing. So this is totally baffling, totally hilarious. The Tarot of the Cat People, and has nothing to do with the Cat People film with Nastasia Kinski. So we move on from the Tarot of the Cat People. I don't know who's got that deck. Anyway, I have it. I love it. What deck surprised you? Okay, what deck surprised me? Well, many decks have surprised me, I guess. I think what really surprised me was recently when I was at the Mind, Body and Spirit Festival. I did 3 days in the end, and I was reading all day for 3 days. I had breaks, and when I went on my breaks, I was shopping around, and because we worked there, we had discounts, which made buying another deck alluring, right? So, you know, I love Greek mythology. So there's a mythos deck that, you know, looks very mass market, very not me. I can tell you the artwork wasn't me, and it's done by Helena Elias, and I bought it, and then I opened it up and had a look at it, and I still didn't like it, and then I loved it. I didn't really like it, and then I started reading her brilliant book. She's written a brilliant book on this deck. Absolutely outstanding. And she's gone through the Greek myths and again, sort of, you know, comprehended them, distilled them in a way that works with the tarot, works with why she chose them. And yeah, they're all sort of stunning sort of faces. I don't particularly love it when I have faces on cards that are identifiable and not sort of uniform or abstracted a bit, but somehow in this deck I've come to accept it and like it. And there's the Fool. I mean, they're all the ages are in the deck, and every age is presented in its beauty. Ace of Wands, Hephaestus. I mean, he was the poor jilted cuckold of Aphrodite when she was having an affair with Aries or Mars. So it's just a fantastic deck, and I think it's really affordable. I think it's rock pool again, beautiful size that rock pool make for me, gilded, and with the book, and I think it costs very little. And if you did like the Hellenic Oracle, this would help anyone with that in its simplest form, because most of the gods and myths and heroes that are in that deck are also used as a tarot in this deck. So it does help you read for either or. And there's 78 cards. Of course, her deck has with the expansion pack, over 100, but the main ones are here. And, you know, as I said, all the, even, you know, it's got all age groups and all, you know, races. Everyone's beautiful, though. That's the thing. There's beauty in every age, race, everything. It's gorgeous. And I love it. I actually did surprise me at how good it was. So I'll put Nick's beautiful, beautiful. I'll put it away. And I think in Australia, if you go to Big W, you can just pick it up for very little. So good on her, and good on that deck, and good on me for being open-minded, and because it was cheap, I got it and it worked. So that was great. What deck doesn't really work for you? Well, okay. Had to pick one, and everyone's going to get upset. Maybe with this. I don't know how popular this really was on Tarot Tube, but there's a Leonardo da Vinci deck, and the Da Vinci Enigma Tarot, and it has a system, and the system's okay and interesting, but it doesn't. I've tried, and these are the great, beautiful backs. I did edge it in a sort of silver, a matte silver type thing, and it just Enigma, Lord of Earth. I mean, it's really nice. Way shower, and it's really interesting. I mean, it's a really interesting deck. See, that's what happens. I've done that now. But it doesn't really work for me. And maybe I'll just have to read a little bit more about it. I mean, he is a genius, and I do like looking at it. And I'm sure there's a card in the Solar Busca that looks like that. And there he is, as the magician. And even now, when I put it down, and it's got a great book that explains it, but it just, I don't know, it just doesn't work for me. So I shall put that away. Now, what is your favorite gilded deck? Okay, so this one was a little bit on the easy side because I just love the holographic gilding that a lot of the decks have, and especially a lot of the independent decks. The Age of Aquarius Tarot, and this is by the Levitate Co. Publishing, which is, they're also on Instagram, and you can get this is an independent deck, an indie from Etsy. I've got a lot of her decks, and she did very well with the book with this one because you can read it. I think I've got an oracle. The saltwater oracle is, you can't read the book physically. It's just too pale, the writing on it, and even the cards, they've got great little quotes on them, and they're really sort of hard to read. So let's go through this. Just a few of these cards. An absolutely beautiful deck. I'll start on this side. And it's another one of those cosmic, you know, Danielle Noel scenarios where you've got sort of, you know, new agey stuff. So if you're not into the Star Child and all that, I guess it's not for you. But for me, I just think it's something I can work with, and I love the colors, and I love so many of the cards. And again, I work with the idea that, okay, there's people in it that are sort of like photographed, but I've come to accept that I can deal with that. See, this is my preference, is something like this where it's a little bit more abstracted, but you know, we can't have everything we want. This is the Knight of Swords. She's very talented, and I love the color scheme and just all the cards that are in this deck are just wonderful. And here's the gilding, of course, and it's like a silvery shimmery thing, and it picks up on all the colors, and very prismatic and gorgeous. Love it. Just a few more beautiful cards. The Ace of Pearls. She's got, you know, different suites with, some of them have the standard names and some she's renamed, but it's pretty obvious what's what. Not very difficult to read at all. I love looking at it. I love going through it. I think she's got a few more decks coming out and I think I'll be buying them. It's got its own feel. And I'll end with this one here, the Knight of Wands, beautiful. And they're, you know, not AI or anything like that. I mean, she's obviously collaged imagery, but she's done it. She's the artist and her imprints on them and her certain distinctive style is on them. So that is... and I don't know if I mentioned the Leonardo deck. I think is out of print now, but I think it was mass market. But if you want to get it eBay and stuff, that you can always sort of have a look, and they pop up every now and then. These indie decks are a bit different because they're not mass market, so not always easy to get. I think she has done a reprinting though, so I think you can get it at the moment. Which deck do you love but hate the cardstock? Well, okay, so my favourite deck, one of my, you know, this was a battle between the Greeny Thoth and this deck actually that you'd have to pry out of my gold deck. You'd have to get it off me. Again, late 80s, young teenager and crappy. This isn't the deck. My deck is so battered I can't be bothered. It's cardboard. Like I reckon this is cardboard. Like not even, it's crap. The Wheaties box is better. Like, it just deserves so much better than this cardstock. And the new one, I don't know, I can't remember the cardstock on the new one, but the new one looks like AI's done the drawings. I'm not interested one bit. They've got, you know, these drawings are beautiful, but it's like even this, I've got so many copies of this deck, and you use it once and it starts getting really used. So I wish they had done one with the same sort of cardstock. It needs a bit of a sheen on it. I wish US Games had done it. Actually, you know, for those that complain about that, I think if they just sort of kept it all the same and just changed the cardstock, it would be fantastic. And you all know about this deck. I mean, it goes through the pantheon of Greek gods. It goes through the story of Cupid and Psyche, or Eros and Psyche, and Clytemnestra and the tales of Troy, Jason and the Argonauts. There's so much in here. Hoster and Calix, Poseidon. It's just a lot. And yeah, I just wish it was made on better cardstock so I could have a deck that I could at least feel comfortable using and not wearing out so quickly. So that's that one. Next question. What deck gives you the willies? Well, I've got a few of those ones, but I guess Magicians, Martyrs and Madmen. I've got the indie version. I think it's in mass market now. Rockpool, I think they've done it. They've probably done a great job of it because all the other ones are good. But, you know, look, this is the Marquis de Sade. Wouldn't that give you the willies? There's Vlad the Impaler. Not so weird. The Titanic. As the Six of Swords. Like, you look at the Titanic, you know it's not going to be good, and it's at the Six of Swords. Every card has an element of, okay, you got the Empress, but she's the Countess Bathory. You know, she was killing young, beautiful women and bathing in their blood to use it as a fountain of youth. So it is a bit, you know, But it's so, I can't look away. It's a car accident. In a good way. Bloody Mary. But it does give me the willies when I touch it, hold it, read about it. But I think if you ask Travis McHenry, he probably thinks, oh, success, that's what I was aiming for. And I've got the oracle, his oracle of heaven and hell, and that gives me the willies too. But at least it's got the heaven part that sort of balances out the bad part. And I did have the occult tarot and the angel tarot. I gave them both away because I couldn't deal with the occult one at all. But anyway, that's that. And I think I've edged that in black. And great cardstock. I think I've spoken already about that. And it gives me the total willies. Weird, but great. Well, we all enjoy that. So, next question. What is your favourite deck for shadow work? Well, I think it's going to have to be the Abyssal Tarot here, another independent deck. Shelley Corbett, photographed underneath the water, just absolutely outstanding deck. But I think in terms of a love reading, I think it does deal with the shadow elements. And I have a backup of this deck because I like it so much. But certainly I think it works for love readings that are shadow related, rather than anything else. It's their photos, they're from a camera. They were taken underneath the water, and you get this Baroque inspired deck. And I think it comes through the lens of, it could have come through the lens of Caravaggio. And he often uses the Baroque light and dark and the play of shadow. And he has quite dramatic biblical scenes and of knives on throats, Medusa's heads, people being horrified. Just like that. There's the devil. And I think there would have been an inspiration here with that period, the Baroque, and him in particular, especially even just when looking at this. But I think it is a deck that calls for shadow work, and if someone wants to use it, and as a reader, if you want to read for them with this deck, you know, I think it needs to come with a warning, because it's not for everyone. And you have to be very willing to scale the depths of the psyche to see what's coming out. And I'll just end with the Emperor, which I think is gorgeous. They're all gorgeous. It's a great deck. As I said, I've got a backup. And are there the backs? I think they're the elements. And I've edged mine in this sort of goldy colour. It doesn't come edged. So that's that one. Let me just put that away. There's a mess here that's going to have to be cleaned up later. Okay, now next question. I have to keep checking the questions. What deck do you love in theory but not in practice? Well, I think everyone's gonna get upset, but the Voyager Tarot, I know James Wanless is popular and respected, and I respect him too. I think he's done a great job for tarot, but seriously, I can't In theory, it's probably a great deck. I know he's written a behemoth of a book. There's also this little book that comes with it. It's mass market, you can still get it. I think he did it in the early 80s. And it's relatively cheap. If you want to get it and try it, that's great. I've edged it in this green colour. These are the backs. I've tried to get along with it. I've tried to, I sort of get it when I read about it, it's all good and nice, and then I see the cards and I go, oh my God, get me a pain headache tablet now. I mean, that's gorgeous, the Emperor, but it's just so much. It's just so much. And I love collage decks. It's not because it's collage. I love collage decks, but this is like, you get a headache. I mean, look at that, Man of Crystals. How am I supposed to read that? Inventor. That just looks like a chaos. I don't even know what's invented in here. I'm not sure I can see one thing that I can make out that says invention, apart from a mass of stuff. I can't practice with it. And in the history of tarot, it probably has a lot to say, and the book's interesting. It's really interesting theoretically. The Sage of Wands, the Two of Worlds. It's even sort of interesting to look at. I don't mind looking at it, almost like an oracle, yes. But as a tarot, when you lay it out, it's just a miasma of colour and energy and mess, and I don't know. It's like he needs to go off, and the deck needs to go and meditate. Seer comes out there. The Ace of Worlds. I like that. And I can see a lot of other decks getting influenced by him for sure. But I'm not going to find it now. But even like his, the Sun's nice. Even his Fool is looks like Chucky from, the horror series. So you see that doll on the Fool card, and it's like, what the hell is this? But, the Priestess is good. There's not so much. Man of Cups. Where is he? I don't know. Anyway, that's, in theory, but can't use it. In practice, a little bit. Just doesn't work for me. I don't think I've ever seen anyone read with this deck either, to be honest, to read for others. I've never seen this deck come out in all the years, but anyway, maybe someone does. Next one. What deck would you never use to read for someone else? Oh, that's easy. Like, how am I going to use the Vlad the Impaler deck for somebody? That's another one from Travis McHenry's gone two notables here. They're the gorgeous backs. This is the Rockpool edition. It's gilded, gorgeous size, gorgeous feel, gorgeous cardstock. But yeah, so I'm at the, I'm sitting there doing a reading, and the Empress comes out like that. I'm not gonna do that. It's a bloody deck. I understand what I think's going on behind the deck, but I'm not going to bring it out for anyone, nor unless they really, really pushed for it and I knew them personally, would I ever read for someone else with this deck. There's just too much weird stuff like that happening, and I don't want to oh my God, the slow execution. That's what I should call this video. The slow execution. Is she ever going to end? Is it going to end? What deck is coming up next? But it's genius. The nailing of the turbans. Come on. killed by many spears and thus he died. So I'm sitting there doing a reading, and then it's got killed by many and thus he died. Oh dear. Okay, so that's how we're going there. So that's I just you know, it's a great deck, by the way, but no, I don't think it's for reading for anybody else. If you want to sort of read for yourself and see what pops up, who you may want to kill or burn at the stake. There's boiling people in this as well. You can you can use that, and it comes with a great, very informative. I think Travis went to Transylvania as well, and yeah, so we move along. Okay. What deck would you never use for yourself? Okay, this, I guess this was the most interesting one out of all of them. At the moment, I'm going to put this at the moment, and I think everyone's going to think this is a little bit strange. But I got the Mysteries of Black Madonna deck, and by Hetty Grobler. I have to look that up all the time, and it's a beautiful deck. It comes in a beautiful pouch. These are the backs. It comes edged like that. It comes, I think she's in South Africa. Now you're probably asking why I wouldn't use this to read for myself. This is an amazing deck. A lot of work went into the artwork, and you know, I'm not going to use this as a platform to poo-poo AI art, because I want AI to clean my house and do my gardening. I don't want AI to do my art and my writing. You can clean my toilet, thanks, but leave the interesting stuff to humans. And this is a very human deck because she built these little sculptures, and she photographed them, and they took a long time to put together. I guess why don't I read this for myself? It's a very spiritual deck. Again, now I've got tingles going up my legs and body, but that happens a lot with me because that's the nature of how I get information as well, through bodily responses. And I can't get a clear reading, and the reason I think that is because this was my mother's name and my mother's patron saint as well, and on August 15 is her, you know, the Assumption of the Virgin, and she's passed now, and I just can't do the reading. I tried. I'm going to have to read the book first and maybe detach a bit more. I don't know. It's a very emotional response I get to this deck. And she would have, if she were here, she would have loved it. She loved that her name was, you know, Maria, Mary, it's the same thing. And she loved that this was her patron saint. And the Mysteries of the Black Madonna, it's you know, it's not your average deck for the Virgin. It has a lot of different connotations to it. The black veil, and I can't read with it, so it just sits there. I can't read for myself or anyone, actually. It just causes a little bit of pain that I don't want to deal with, and I can't manage and control that much, and I think I fail when I try to, so that's that. I really wasn't going to bring this deck into any of my presentations, but oh well, I answered the question honestly, so I had to bring it in. It's not a deck for everyone either. But this artist is an artist. It's a very human spiritual deck. Probably one of the more spiritual decks that I own, if not the most. Okay, I'll move on. Number 18, what deck could you not bring yourself to buy? Wow. Okay. Now, one of my I've got a lot of decks that I've wanted. There's not many decks out there. There's probably a handful of decks that I can't get because I can't find, or I can't bring myself to buy because the price is just too much. Now, one of those decks is I'm looking for the Spolia Tarot, and I'm willing to pay good money for it, but I'm not willing to pay ridiculous money for it. When I say ridiculous, in Australian dollars, it's about 1,000. I see it for about $1,300, $1,400 on eBay. I guess for overseas viewers in US dollars, it might be about 800 US dollars. It's a beautiful deck. I missed out on it for various reasons. I love it. It's there, but I won't pay that money for it. I just won't do it. I'm not saying it's not worth it. The market determines the price. So there was that many made. There's that many on the market. This is what the cost is. Simple as that. It's supply and demand. It's basic economics, and people are taking whatever advantage of the market to, I guess, profit from their good choice. And why shouldn't they? Let them. It's all a money go round anyway. They're probably going to spend more money and buy indie decks or this or that and support art, and I hope they do, because if they've bought the Spolia, they've supported an independent artist, not an AI person. I'll stop. So that's the deck that got away. So if anyone ever wants to sell it to me for less than that, do reach out. I will consider prices. What's your favourite pip deck? Okay, my favourite pip deck. Well, what's a pip deck? Is it a Marcier deck really? Because, I mean, if it is, it's the Spanish Tarot, which you know from my other video. But let's say it's a pip deck. Let's call it as a pip deck. Let's just use it in the modern sense. And I think the Pagan Otherworlds is a great pip deck. It is a pip deck. They've done a great job. This is a classic too. I guess when this goes out of print, it's gonna be worth a bit. I'm not sure how many they did, but you can get this easily. You don't have to go to the creators. It is distributed. I got it through an Australian distributor. Not Stoned and Saged, which I got a lot of my Moonchild tarots with, and it's better because you can pay for the local shipping, so it keeps the price down. But it is a pip deck, and it's got that old-fashioned sort of look about it. But, you know, here we have the Seven of Swords, and it's got a little bit more than a pip in it, and that's why I like it. It's not a total pip deck, but that's a pip. Okay, so that's a pip. And that gives it that simplicity. And of course, when you're reading pips and you're not reading RWS, it's a different lineage. That's all it is. That's the Knight. Okay. And of course, you have to understand how to read that. There's a lot of numerology that comes into it. There's a lot of intuition that comes into it. But it's still a pip deck, and at least it's got the number on top, like a lot of the traditional Marcier don't, and you sort of have to get used to the card. But this one's got a little bit more on it, like, you know, that's the Seven of Cups, so you've got the clouds again. So it's sort of a pip deck, and it echoes a little bit of the RWS. That's the Six of, I mean, there it is. It's lovely. It's a lovely, lovely deck. And the card quality is fantastic. A bit large, but look at that. but everything that comes out of Usi Design Studios is beautiful. And this one comes with the moons. So you've got the new moon, the full moon, the crescents, and sometimes I just put those out or use them as oracles at the beginning or end of the reading. Like, what would you like to, you know, in a sense that, you know, what needs to be exposed, or what needs to be taken, taken back in, what needs to come out, what needs to be taken back in, what needs to start, what needs to end. That's how sometimes I read those cards at the beginning of a reading, or sometimes at the end of a reading, or else I will separate them from the deck or throw them on a position of advice, let's say. That I do that quite often. When I get additional cards in the deck, I don't keep them in the read. I take them out of the read and use them as an oracle. So I'm thinking the creator's given me some oracles for their deck. And that's what I do with that. So that's the beautiful, beautiful Pagan Otherworlds. And I haven't edged it because it's got the white. I'm still thinking about edging it. Don't know. I think a sort of gold, because it's got a bit of gold at the back. But I'm not 100% convinced I should. So it's on the back burner. I've got so many to do. This is not going to be on that list. So yes, so that's my favourite pip deck. What deck slaps you with the truth? Oh, this might sort of be I think others might have this one as in the same position because she's nasty. The Barbara Walker Tarot in a tin. There's a vintage version of this deck too that's a bit bigger, I think, but I don't mind the old tin and this size. So that's there. These are the gorgeous backs. I love that. They've got the white borders. I don't mind them on this. And yeah, it comes with the additional cards. I'm pretty sure that's US Games. And it might not show up that much in this. I don't know what's going to come out because I haven't sort of put these in order, but it has some harsh commentary on a lot of the cards, like Dreams, Seven of Cups, which could be that. You know, we've said that before. Four of Swords, Seclusion. And look at this. Success. But I mean, look at the success. I mean, it's a woman crowning a man. Who's the successful? The Devil, no comment. Decline, Four of Cups. It's very interesting that she calls that card Decline. I guess you're declining an offer as well because one of the cups is spilt, and in the traditional deck he's looking away. But yeah, so I find that this deck quite often has harsh imagery and I mean, look at that, for Justice. Baal is the King of I mean, really? That's not a positive king, if you ask me. I'm not saying much because it does. It gives it a punch. That's like, oh no, oh dear, we've been caught out. I don't know. That doesn't look that positive either. I mean, the whole deck's just got a lot in it. It's a great deck though. She's very good. So yeah, so I think that one, you know, sometimes when you sort of want to ask a few questions, this one can tell you stuff. Defeat. More so through the images as well. Alliance, whereas, I mean, it's sort of Thothy in a way, but Thoth doesn't have all these sort of faces looking at you, giving you those expressions. And this has got Queen of Cups vaginal. It has got people and expressions, and even the Ten of Cups, salvation. Is it a fairy tale? So you can see that in the background it looks like a Disney, or the castles in Bavaria that Ludwig built, that I think the Disney castles were based on. And he lived in his fairyland with his swans underneath, and fled from wars and the Austro-Hungarian wars and everything that was going on at the time. He just fled and escaped into these castles that cost, I mean, nearly ran the country to the ground. But now they're very famous and people visit them. So it always comes, you know, in reversal. But what is this for the Ten of Cups? Very, very interesting deck. A very, very interesting woman. So that's that one. And what number are we up to? Well, that slapped us with some truths, and there's more in here. I won't go through them. What's the deck that got away? Well, obviously, I haven't got the deck here that got away. I think it's Folia probably, because I want to buy it. That did get away. But if we want to even have another deck that got away, I think for me would be, I would have loved the Tarot of Delphi. I think that got away. I think she would have done a great job on that deck. It's Hildegard, I think her name is, and never reproduced it, and nothing goes on her Instagram website or anything like that. And the Majestic Earth Tarot is probably in the same vein. I didn't get those decks, you know, because sometimes you think they'll just get reprinted or they'll come back out and I'll get to it. I've got other decks I want, or I'm not buying any decks for three or 4 months because I'm trying to, you know, I don't keep decks I don't like. I don't like having a lot of decks, and I've got limited room. I don't give many away because before I buy a deck, I don't really just go out and buy one, although you saw that the Mythos one I bought, but I was really happy with, and sometimes you fluke it. But the minute I don't like a deck, I'll either give it away or sell it, and it moves on. But anyway, they're the mistakes that happen sometimes. Like, I would call that a mistake that I didn't get those particular decks, and if she does reprint or something else happens, more Kickstarters, we'll be back on and we'll be looking for them. And again, they're probably very pricey on eBay, and when they do come on, and they don't come on that often, because I don't think that many were printed. So that's what happens. But anyway, they're the 21 tarot questions. I hope you got a lot out of it. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll be back with more videos. And I hope you were somewhat informed, entertained, and maybe want to see more. So, and thank you for all your support so much. Like, follow, subscribe. I'm shocked and humbled again. Thank you, everybody. Bye.